Before we take a look at the student books, a quick reminder that there are two large LES projects this year in Block D, and also several small LESs. The large LESs contain the Sec 4 science concepts required by the ministry for students to graduate. Each block begins the year with the largest LES project, when the students are the freshest and the most motivated. For Block D this year, that will be finding the solution. The student book has the following setup. First, students are introduced to the project. Next, they'll begin to study some of the required ministry scientific concepts that will be needed for this project. After acquiring some scientific knowledge, students will get to test that knowledge with an experiment or activity related to the project. Then they'll learn about another aspect of scientific knowledge, which they then again will investigate with an experiment. This process is repeated until most of the knowledge needed is completed and they work directly on their project. The scientific information that students must learn is presented in the student book with many images to attract and engage students and reinforce the written text that some might have difficulty reading. The experiments are set up with a page for students to write their hypothesis, determine the variables, and make a sketch of the equipment. Step-by-step procedures, clear tables for the results, and finally, analysis questions. When the students come to work on the project itself, the student book provides clear step-by-step instructions with the images. The LES concludes with a number of culminating questions. Although the project differs considerably in A World Without Oil, the flow of the student book is very much the same. Students are introduced to the project. Then they'll learn some scientific concepts needed for the project. They'll begin to work on aspects of the project related to what they just learned and answer some review questions on that content. The process of studying concepts and applying them to the project repeats until the project is completed. Finally, the LES wraps up with the culminating questions. For the smaller LESs, the setup of the student books is similar but simpler. The situation is introduced. The related concepts are explained with as many images as possible. Then there might be a short worksheet or word puzzle for the students to do. There's always a related experiment or activity. And of course, it concludes with culminating questions.